There's a weird pattern happening on tech YouTube right now. The same phrase keeps showing up across totally different channels. Not new model, not new app. It's self-improving agent. And one name in particular is popping up again and again. Hermes agent, often framed as the next OpenClaw, or the agent that grows with you. But here's the real question. Is this a genuine step forward? Or is it just the latest wrapper around the same old chatbot with a folder of prompts? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down what Hermes agent actually is, why it's suddenly getting attention, what the self-improving claim seems to mean in practice, and, most importantly, the hidden costs people don't talk about, the security bill for always-on agents with memory. Hermes agent, the self-improving AI agent everyone's talking about. This is the Daily Logs, and you are watching the Daily Logs. First, why this is an outlier story. When a topic trends on YouTube, it's usually easy to explain. A big company event, a major breach, a new console, something mainstream. But this is different. Across the last couple weeks, you'll see multiple long-form videos on Hermes agent, including setup guides, comparisons, and this changes everything style takes. And some of these are outliers, meaning they're not just high views. They're beating the channel's usual baseline by a lot. That matters because YouTube channels are like experiments with a control group. If a channel normally gets, say, 5,000 views on a typical long-form tech video and one topic suddenly gets 50,000, that's a signal. People are searching, sharing, or sticking around longer than normal. So instead of treating YouTube as the source of truth, we treat it like a radar. Hermes agent is showing up on the radar. Second, what Hermes agent claims to be. Let's go to primary sources, not YouTube. The Hermes agent GitHub repository describes it as a self-improving AI agent built by Noose Research. And it makes 3 big promises. 1. It isn't tied to a single interface. It can run as a terminal UI, and it can also talk through messaging platforms via a gateway, so you can message it while it runs elsewhere. 2. It's model flexible. The project positions itself as a runtime where you can swap models and providers rather than being locked into one. 3. And this is the attention magnet. It's designed around a closed learning loop. The pitch is that over time, it can build memory, search past sessions, and even create or improve skills from experience. If you've been around AI tooling for a while, you've heard versions of this. It learns your preferences, it remembers your workflows, it automates. But Hermes agent is pushing hard on the idea that the runtime itself is the product. The agent is not just a chat interface. It's a system. Memory, plus tools, plus scheduling, plus long-running sessions. Third, the shift most people miss. Chatbot to runtime. Here's the simplest way to understand why this is getting traction. For the last couple years, most people's AI workflow looked like this. You ask a model something. It answers. You copy/paste. Done. An agent runtime changes that shape. It's more like you describe an objective. The system uses tools. It keeps state. It checks progress. It can run for minutes or hours, and it can come back tomorrow without starting from zero. So when you see terms like skills, memory, gateway, cron, or scheduling, session durability, those are runtime words, not chatbot words. And Hermes agent's release notes reinforce that. A recent release, labeled V0.13.0 with the date May 7th, 2026, emphasizes things like persistent goals, checkpoints, session auto-resume after restarts, and a big section titled Security and Reliability. That's not the language of a toy demo. That's the language of software that expects to live in production. Fourth, self-improving sounds magical. What does it likely mean? Let's be careful. Self-improving can mean a lot of things. Some impressive, and some basically marketing. At the boring end, it can mean, we store your preferences and reuse them. At the more real end, it can mean, the agent notices repeated patterns, turns them into reusable tool sequences, and upgrades those over time. From the project README and Docs, Hermes agent frames this as nudging itself to persist knowledge, searching its own past conversations, creating skills after complex tasks, improving those skills during use. So the likely practical version is, Hermes is trying to combine memory, tool access, and structured reuse so that the next time you do something similar, it's faster and more reliable. If you've used coding agents, this is the same basic arc. The winning workflow isn't type better prompts. It's turn one-off work into repeatable procedures. And that's the core appeal. People don't just want an assistant. They want a system that turns work into automation. Fifth, the part everyone should be skeptical about, security. Now the counterpoint. Any always-on agent that has tools, can take actions, and has persistent memory also has something attackers love: a persistent target. This isn't hypothetical. There's a recent R. Karshiv paper titled Your Agent, Their Asset, a real-world safety analysis of OpenClaw submitted in April 2026. It argues that when an agent has full local access and integrates with sensitive services, its persistent state creates new attack surfaces. The paper introduces a framework for thinking about persistent agent state, capabilities, identity, knowledge, and reports that poisoning those dimensions can significantly increase attack success rates in their evaluation. Again, that paper is about OpenClaw, not Hermes. But the lesson generalizes. If the agent can remember things, it can also remember bad things. If it can install skills, it can also install poisoned skills. If it can follow instructions from the web, it can also be tricked by prompt injection. Now Hermes does appear to be taking this seriously. In the same v0.13.0 release notes, Hermes lists security hardening items like secret redaction enabled by default, credential writer race condition fixes, SSRF guardrails for browser routing, scanning assembled cron prompts, including skill content, for prompt injection. That's exactly the kind of boring, unsexy work that matters if you want people to trust an agent runtime. But even with hardening, the tension remains. The more autonomous and persistent your agent becomes, the more you need permission boundaries, isolation, and auditing. So if you're watching this trend and thinking, I want that, a good first mindset is, treat agent runtimes like you'd treat a server, because that's what they are. Sixth, so why is Hermes Agent taking off specifically? If we zoom out, Hermes Agent looks like it's riding 3 converging waves. Wave 1. People want one place for agent workflows, not 5 different apps, one runtime where skills, memory, and sessions live. Wave 2. Multi-interface is becoming mandatory. If your agent only runs in one chat window, it's fragile. Gateways and cross-device continuity are what make it feel real. Wave 3. The agent arms race is moving from models to systems. Models matter, but what differentiates real tools is reliability, resumable sessions, guardrails, and a workflow that survives restarts and failures. Hermes. Agents messaging is basically, we're building the runtime layer for agents that actually live with you across time, not just a demo in a browser tab. That is a compelling story. And it's a story that's easy to turn into outlier content because it hits curiosity, self-improving, utility, set it up in 10 minutes, competition, Hermes versus OpenClaw, and fear. But is it safe? Closing. How to watch this trend intelligently. If you want to track whether Hermes Agent is real momentum or a brief spike, here's what to watch over the next month. Do real users report durable, boring wins, like fewer restarts, fewer broken skills, safer defaults? Do releases keep focusing on reliability and security, not just flashy demos? Does the ecosystem grow, skills, integrations, documentation, without becoming a supply chain nightmare? Because the future isn't one perfect model. It's a world where the model is interchangeable, and the winners are the runtimes that can safely turn experience into automation. If you want a one-line takeaway, Hermes Agent isn't interesting because it's a chatbot. It's interesting because it's trying to be an operating system for work, and that's powerful and dangerous at the same time. If the next era of AI is agents, then the real competition is simple. Who can build the agent that learns without becoming the easiest thing on your machine to exploit? Thanks for watching the Daily Logs. I'll see you in the next one.